3, 2, 1, and go. So you need to select the correct option. Just a reminder of what we're supposed to be doing. Which number uses the digit 8 to represent a value of 800? Try and work this out, everyone. Quickly. Okay, so all of you have got the correct answer, but still let's just go through the question one. So it says which number uses the digit 8 to represent a value of 800? So that is absolutely correct. Over here we can see 8 stands at the hundreds place. So yes, that is why the answer over here is 8. Okay, guys, I think Pranshul, I will send the link here, the game pin here one more time. Just give me one moment. I don't know, my screen froze for a bit. Yeah, Arush, I'm aware. Just give me one moment, please. Not entirely sure what happened. Just one moment, everyone. Okay. So if I can get just a thumbs up if everyone is able to see my screen yet again. Okay, perfect. Moving on with the next question, but before that, let's have a look at the scoreboard. So the scoreboard looks like D1 to the power 17, Ishan, Kodali, Arush, Pranav, and Sashank. Okay, so we have a very good leaderboard. Let's move on to the next question. Here again, we need to choose the correct option. So Adam is using his phone's calculator app to calculate 3182 multiplied with 70. He accidentally enters 3182, that is 3182 times 7. How can he correct his mistake? So this was what he was supposed to enter, and this is what he entered. How can he identify and rectify his mistake? Okay, all of you have answered. That's good. Okay, one of you was slightly confused, but yes, let's have a look as to what the answer is and how exactly it's going to work. So Adam is using his phone's calculator. If he has, he wanted to multiply 3182 times 7070, and he accidentally enters times 7 instead of 70. So he needs to multiply the answer by 10. Since in the question he divided by 10, so now he needs to multiply by 10. Okay, good job. Let's have a look at the leaderboard. And Ishan has moved up a place. Sashank and Arush have switched positions, and Tanvika is up here. Good. Let's have a quick look at the third question. You need to complete the equation below. 1000 is 10 raised to what number? Okay, that was pretty quick of all of you. All of you have got nearly all of you have got the correct answer. So it says 1000 is equal to 10 to the power what? So over here, 10 to the power 3 indicates that 10 needs to be multiplied with itself thrice. So 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 would get us the answer as 1000. So that is why the answer is going to be option number B, that is 3. I'm not quite sure. The people who have answered 10 to the power 100, I believe what you had in mind was you were multiplying 10 times 100. This is a very quite often mistake that students tend to make. You do not multiply the base with the power. You multiply the base with itself with the number of times the power is there. So if I write 10 to the power 100, that is not equal to 10 multiplied with 100. Okay. So moving further, checking up on the leaderboard. Okay, Arush has made a huge comeback. Rishan moving up on the scoreboard. And let's see. Okay, 41 times 100. Quickly. This should be a 3-second answer, not a 30-second one. Quickly. Good. So yes, all of you have got the correct answer, so it doesn't make much sense to discuss it. 41 times 100, we get the answer over here as 4100. Good. Moving on. The scoreboard has a little change. Tanvika moving up a position, and the rest of you maintaining your positions in the top 5. Good. Tucker wants to calculate 824 times 10 raised to 8 using mental math. How can you determine the correct answer in this way? Okay, so the answers are coming in a little bit slow, but hopefully they're going to turn out the best. Okay, so we have all the answers, and yes, absolutely correct. All of you are right about it. He wants to calculate this using mental math. He can increase the place value by 8 places. He can decrease the value of 824 by 8 places. So when we say increase the place value, if this is your number 8, 20 and 4, so we need to move it onto the left side. That is, we keep adding zeros on the right part. So when you increase the place value, you are multiplying with a positive power of 10. When you're decreasing the place value, you're multiplying with a negative power of 10. Good. That's nice to know. Okay, so we have a few changes in the scoreboard with Khushi entering the top 5. Let's see the next question. So what we have over here is 3.82 times 1000. Quickly, the same rules are applicable. You just need to make sure that you keep the decimal place in mind when you answer the question. Perfect. It's a perfect score. It seems like you people might not have done the worksheet from last time, but you were ultimately prepared for the class today. Great. So 3.82 times 1000, we remove the 2 decimal places with the 2 zeros and we move 1 place ahead over here. So we have 382 followed by a 0. That brings the answer to 3820. Wonderful. Okay, so apart from the top 5 people, we have Sumavi 386Z with the highest answer streak of 6. So good, and Ishan has moved up to the first position. So congratulations, Ishan, on this. Let's see if you're able to maintain your top score. Okay, 67430, 67,430 is to be divided by 100. Place your answers quickly, everyone. Let's see. Time is running out. Okay. Oh, there's a very split kind of an answer I'm getting over here. So some of you have answered 67.43. Some of you have answered 674.3. So if I just explain this question, we have 67430 to be divided by 100. Right. So 1 0 strikes out as it is. So we have 1 0 to be accommodated with the division. So that is why this is going to result into 1 decimal place after the decimal point. So the reason why the answer is not option A is because this 0 is going to get cancelled out with one of the zeros that we have in 100. So did everyone understand the question? The people who answered option A, is this clear to you now? Or the in general also, is the question understood by everyone? If I can get a little thumbs up. Good. Great. Perfect. Fine. So we will move on to the next question. And again, we have a new person entering the scoreboard. That's nice to know. Always good to see new names up here. Okay. Complete the statement below. 92.6 divided by 10 raised to the power A is equal to 0.00926. Find the value of A. You can always reverse engineer this question. Hurry up, time is running out. Okay, so again, we've got mixed answers for this. So 7 people have answered it correctly. 4 of you got it a little incorrect. But yes, this again was a little dicey problem. So we have 92.6 resulting into 0.00926. So over here, what we have is that 92.6, this decimal place has moved 1, 2, 3, and 4th position. So here's what we have, 0.00926. So that means 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have moved 4 decimal places up here. Is everyone clear on the question? Has everyone understood this? Okay, good, great. Moving on to the next question. A little change in the scoreboard. Rishan has moved up to the very first position. Okay, let's have a look at the ninth question. This should be an easy one, but keep in mind, okay, so before I could finish the sentence, we have our answers. So only two of you got a little bit confused with the way the question was framed, but yes, let's have a look. Which of the following correctly writes out 234.812? So this is by default that the first part, the whole number part is 234, but the rest of the part is 812. So that is 812,000. After the decimal position, we start off with tenth. Okay, we don't have the 1th position, that does not exist. So that is going to be tenth, hundredth, and thousand. So 240, 234 and 812 hundredths. That is why the answer is D and not this one, right? 234 and 812,000. I can see some of you got the answer as B and C because of the obvious reason that you might have assumed hundredth and thousand. That is for the C position. And for the B one, maybe you got confused with the 43 and the 34. Okay, so not a lot of you have answered it incorrectly. So I think we can move on to the next question, having a look at the leaderboard. Okay, so Rishan, Ishan, Aru, Sashank, and Kushi. And then again, we have Rishan with a streak of 9 correct answers in a row. Good. So let's move on to the next one. Let's see which one of you is able to answer this. Only one answer yet? Okay, so let's see how many of you were able to answer it correctly. 9 plus 6. Okay, so quite a few of you have answered this correctly. So let's have an analysis of this question. Which of the following are equal to 27.715? So there could be multiple answers for this. There could be non-multiple answers for this. So let's see how this was supposed to be done. So when we move to this question, we can see that over here we have been given different representations for this. Oh, I accidentally stopped sharing. Okay, guys, just a heads up, if just in case you are not able to see my screen even for a second, please just let me know in the chat. Okay, so I can make sure that yes, whatever I am saying, you people are, able to grasp onto that. So this we have as 2 times 10 plus 7 times 1 plus 7 times 1 over 10 plus 1 times 1 over 100 plus 5 times 1 over 1000. So this is what we have. So option A is going to be correct, and 27 and 715,000. This is what we have discussed in the previous question as well. So that is why option number A and option number C is going to be correct. If in case you have marked answer as all A, B, and C, these both are going to be quite contradicting. Likewise, A and D are going to be quite contradicting. So I hope all of you have understood why the option A and C are correct. Is there anyone who has a query in this question, or is everyone sorted about this? Okay, good. Thank you for the thumbs ups, everyone. Moving further on to the next question. Okay, so with three in a row, Pranav is back in the game and everyone is still maintaining their positions in the top 5. Okay, so again, it's a multi-select question. So work it out accordingly. Which of the following are equal to 25.871? Think carefully. Okay. Okay. So we have too much varied answers over here. 10 of you have got it correct. Another 8 of you have got it correct over here. Some of you have not been able to answer it quite correctly, but let's see. which of the following are equal to 25.871? So it says 25 and 871,000. So yes, 871,000, this indicates the correct position of this, so that's going to be true. Then again, the yet another method by which we can explain this is 25 can be split as 20 plus 5, and then again we have 0.871, so that is 0.8 plus 0.07 plus 0.001. So that is how options A and D are going to be the correct answers. Let's have a look at the next question. Okay, so not much to discuss over here since we have the same set of people in the top 5 being the flag bearers. Okay, yet again a multi-select question for all of you. Okay, which of the following forms are equivalent to 0.45? There could be multiple ways of, mentioning something, of referring to something. Okay, so nearly all of you have got the correct answers. So we needed to check all the MCQs that were true. So 0.45 is 4 over 10 plus 5 over 100. That's true. 0.45 is 45 over 100. That's again true. And then again, this is just, option number D. This part is correct that we have 40 over 100. Here we can, eliminate 0 and 0. So we get 0.4. But this is not entirely correct. If we had this part also written as 50 over 5 over 100 in some form or the other, this option would have been correct. Likewise, for the option number C, if I have the number 45 in general, so as many number of zeros I put onto the left side, they are not going to matter. Likewise, for a decimal place, as many numbers that I put on the right side, they are not going to matter. So always keep this in mind. For whole numbers, zeros put up on the left part don't matter. For the decimal places, zeros put up on the right part don't matter. Having a quick check at the scoreboard, it's just fluctuating between 2 or 3 people. So Ishan has, quite set up his camp at number 1 position. Okay, so again, you need to choose the correct option over here. Okay, select the correct choices that are greater than 501.18. Okay. Too many people have answered at the very last few seconds, I would say. So again, 501.18. Over here, we know that the answer is definitely going to be option number A, that is 500 plus 10 plus 1 plus 0.8 over here. Okay, sorry, my bad. Select the answer choices that are greater than this. So we have 511.8. That is what reflects as option number A. For the second option, we have 5 times 100, which is 500. 1 times 1, which is 1. So this will be 501. And then we have 1 times 110. So that will be 0.1. And 8 times 1 over 100. So that is going to be 108. So a very easy method to identify whether 501.18 is going to be greater or whether 501.108 is going to be greater. So we can see that there are 2 decimal places in the first one and there are 3 decimal places in the next one. So we put a 0 to compare these two so that we have 3 decimal places each. Now, is 180 going to be greater or is 108 going to be greater? Which one of you can answer that? That is correct. Henceforth, we have this as greater. So option B cannot be the answer. And likewise, 500, 1 and 810. So that is going to be 501.8, which is definitely going to be greater than our original question. Good. Moving on to the next part. Okay, so we have Arush moving up to the top 1 position and Sumavi386Z entering the top 5 scoreboard. Okay, it's a multi-select. Work it out accordingly. Which of the following are rounded correctly to the 100th place? Only one answer so far. Okay, so we have a varied amount of people answering the question. So let's have a check at all the options over here. So for the B part, if we have a look, we needed to round it off correctly to the hundredths place. So this over here is the hundredths place. So for that, we will have a look at the thousands place. So here it says 6. Because it is greater than 5, this should have been 33.76. So that's incorrect. For the next one, since this is 6, the 8 gets plus 1 and moves on to 49. Then again, we have 4 over here. 4 is lesser than that of 5. So 2 remains, 2 is intact at this position. And over here, we have 5. So this should have become 76.13. But again, it's an entirely different case. So that is why we will just ignore the fourth option as well. So the answers B and C are correct. Let's see the next one. But prior to that, okay, there's no change as such much in the scoreboard except Sashank moving up here in the top 5. Good going, Sashank. Try and find the answer for this, everyone. Which of the following are rounded correctly to the thousandth place? Okay, with the way that I'm receiving the answers over here, I feel that a lot of you have been paying a little more attention to the accuracy part. Maybe in the initial few questions, we were getting the answers quite rapidly, but a few of you were not getting them correct. So it's nice to know that you are taking accuracy as the priority and then moving on to the speed. So good job there. Over here again, the answer is going to be option B and C. Let's have a look how and why. So the thousandth place means that we need to round it off to this position. So for that, we need to have a look at the 10,000th place. So since this is 6, we can round it off to 2.862. 1 will move ahead of its position. And over here, we have 7, which is yet again greater than that of 5. So it's going to be 84.918. Good. All of you have gotten quite the hang of this, which makes us have a look at the scoreboard, which stays intact perfectly. Moving on to question number 16. Let's see what do we get as the answer here. What's the question? What is 89.283 rounded to the nearest hundredth? A little too direct question. Okay, so 8 of you have got it correct. So 89.283 rounded off to the nearest hundredth. For the hundredth, like I said, we need to look at the thousandth position, which is lesser than 5. So 8 is going to remain intact and 3 is just scrapped off. Okay, that's nice to know. So there's only a change in the numbers, the scores that you people have received. Otherwise, the entire scoreboard looks the same. The 17th question for today. You need to select the answer that shows how to multiply 2 times 481 using the distributive property. This property is highly useful when you are trying to attempt something where you need to use parentheses when you need to multiply two numbers. Okay, quite a distributed answer, just like the property over here. So we had to multiply 2 times 481. So what we can do is we can take 2 on the outside. 481 can be split as 400 plus 80 plus 1. Now the number which is outside of the parentheses is going to get multiplied with each and every number inside of the parentheses. So that would be 2 times 400 plus 2 times of 80 plus 2 times 1, which is reflected in only and only the fourth option. Here we have a very scattered and a varied answer, so that definitely could not have been the answer. This we are just adding them in a different way, we're not multiplying them. This we are missing out on part this one and this one. So that is why the answer is option number 4 and not any of the other answers. So was the distributive property understood by all of you? Slightly tricky? Okay, good. So, okay, so Sashank has got a streak with 14 correct answers in a row. That's wonderful to know, Sashank. Good going there. Okay, find the product of this. I would recommend that you people try and utilize the distributive property here if you feel that you don't have that much amount of speed when it comes to calculations. Okay, 0 answers so far. Okay, one of the very few questions where I have not received everyone's answer. So let's see how quickly we can do this. Okay, so instead of having to multiply like this, what I would do is 15 times 4 plus 15 times 5 plus 15 times 4. But the only thing that I need to rectify over here is this will be double zero, this will be single zero, and this will be without any zeros. 15 times 400, 15 times 5, 0, 50, and 15 times 4. So we know that 15 times 4 is 60, adding 2 zeros. 15 times 5 is 75, adding 1 zero. 15 times 4 is 60. Quickly adding that up, we get this as the answer, right? So it's going to be option number C, which is 6810. How many of you are going to try multiplying using the distributive property? You can just take any two random numbers, try to calculate in your own manner, and if you feel that you need to check your answers, you always have an option of calculator. Avyay, okay, fine, you've raised your hand for answering my question. Thank you for that. Okay, with this, we will have a look at the scoreboard. I think there must be a few changes up here. So Rishan has made a miraculous appearance to number 2. And we see that Ishan, Sashank, Samavi, and Arush, all of you are very much here, maintaining your positions. Question 19th, find the product. This one is going to be very, very tricky. Not in terms of calculation, but the time amount is going to be a little not too easy to fit in. Okay, so only 5 answers received so far. Let's have a look. What was the question? How are we supposed to attempt it? So we needed to find the product of 825 times 639. So does anyone have a clue how we can get this done in a shorter amount of time? Does anyone know anything that we might be able to do about this? Anything at all? Okay, not seeing any hands raised. I'm not getting any texts in the chat. So what we do over here is, many a times when we have questions like these, if you apply the distributive property, that is not something that that is going to go down well, because we have 3 numbers over here and 3 numbers here as well. So the only way out of solving these questions is, there's one method that you can check the options. If the options are placed in such a manner that yes, you can get an answer out of it. But here the options are also not in our favor. Like if you just go through the options, all of the answers are just going to be greater than 48,000. We have 8 times 6, so 8 times 6 is supposed to be 48, and then we are supposed to be having 4 zeros up here. So our answer is definitely supposed to be greater than 480,000, but all of the numbers over here are aligned in that manner. Then again, we have 825 times 639. So, again, if you don't have that time crunch, you can probably make a guess. You can probably work this out. But whenever you have a time crunch and you feel that, there's no method out of this, just straight away multiply it and then you're going to get your answer. So for questions like these, there is no smart work around, but yes, there's hard work around. So accordingly, we will get the answer as 527,175. Okay, I have a few people writing in the chat that they've guessed the answers. Okay, so even your luck is on your part at this moment. That's nice. Okay, so Arush has been consistently maintaining his position at the top one, which now brings us to the next question, which is question number 20. So 281 times 3895. Be calm enough to work out the answer for this. Okay, there's a huge improvement in the number of answers that I have got here. So we have 281 times 3895. Again, a very straightforward question. All the answer options that we have, they do not provide us with any, hint for the answer. So yes, those of you who have got the answer is 10,94495, which is 1,094,495. Kudos to you. Really good job with the speed and the accuracy. Okay, so the scoreboard does not have quite a lot of changes. Okay, Ishan, that's nice to know. You've been very lucky today. Okay, so with that, we move on to the second last question for today. That is the 21st question. Ali wants to run a total of 12 miles by running 0.6 miles each day. How many days will it take for Ali to run a total of 12 miles? Try and answer this quickly. I was expecting a lot more answers. Okay, so 8 of you have got it correct. That's nice. So let's have a look how this was supposed to be attempted. So 0.6 miles in one day. So in how many days this person Ali is going to run 12 miles? So it takes 0.6 in one day. How many? Okay, I switched the numbers here. 0.6 miles in one day, 12 miles in how many days? So 0.6 multiplied by what number gives us 12? Quickly, write your answers in the chat. I will repeat my question. 0.6 multiplied with which number gives us the answer as 12? Okay, Khushi, Ishan, Avyay, Arush, Divit, Rayan, all of you are correct. It's going to be 20, right? So since this multiplied with 20 gives us 12, that is why 1 multiplied with 20 gives us the answer, which is 20 days. Is the question understood by all of you? Any queries, any difficulties with this one? Okay, good. That's nice. Okay, so having a second last look at the scoreboard, Arush again maintaining his position with Rishan, Ishan, Sashank and Samavi following up closely. Okay, let's move on to the next question, which is the final question for the day. All the best everyone for the final question. Chantal wants to buy 4.5 pounds of potatoes. Each pound costs $1.28. How much money will it cost to buy 4.5 pounds of potatoes? Again, a very direct question. Not getting those many amount of answers here. Okay, so let's see what we have over here. So 4 of you have got the correct answer. Now the question stated that 1 pound of potato costs 1.28. So 4.5 pounds of potatoes is going to cost how much? So it's a pretty direct question. 1.28 needs to be multiplied with 4.5. So we can ideally work out 128 multiplied with 45, and then we can place the decimal points. So when you calculate this, you will be getting your answer, and you need to put the decimal point at 3 places from the right side, right? So when you work that out, you get the answer as 5.676. Okay, Arush, that's a pretty good thing at your part. That's nice to know. Okay, great. So having a look for the very last time for today at the scoreboard, let's see which one of you got what answers. So number 3, we have Ishan. Good. Number 2, we have Rishan. And number 1 is, I kind of have a hunch who is that going to be, Arush. Okay, so Arush, that smiley at the end of your name turned out to be very lucky for you today, it seems so. So we have runners up as well. Okay, great. Good job, everyone. So did every one of you understand all the kinds of questions, everything that we worked out today? Was it easier than the last time or was it more difficult than the last time? How would you, like, if you were asked to, tell me that whether day one was easier or day two was easier, how would you put it? Okay, much easier. That's good. Nice. So I would just like to say that if you found day two easier, that means you're very much up to the mark for today's topic. So you can only find something easy if you know each and everything about it. So there's nothing called as easy, there's nothing called as difficult. It's just that if you are too well versed with something, everything becomes easy. If you are not too well with something, it becomes difficult. Okay. So which brings me to the congratulatory part for everyone. What we have learned today is the numbers and operations which involve the base 10. So post this, what we are going to be working on is, we are going to be working on numbers and operations that is regarding fractions, right? So I'm sure every one of you is quite well versed with fractions. You know how to work your way around fractions, how to operate on them, how to convert them from